Welcome to the Virginia Schools to Watch site visit training. My name is Dave Schaefer, and I have the privilege of serving as the current Schools to Watch State Director. In this video, we'll learn a little bit about Schools to Watch, including the criteria domains, how it works in Virginia, confidentiality and conflict of interest statement, as well as the entire site visit process. So what is Schools to Watch? Schools to Watch is organized nationally by the National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grades Reform. There are currently 18 states in the United States that are a part of Schools to Watch, as well as several schools internationally. The National Forum website is a great resource that lists the criteria for being a Schools to Watch, has school profiles, including those in Virginia, and then information regarding the annual conference held every year in June in Washington, D.C. So what is a school to watch? Schools to watch are middle grade schools that are four things. They're academically excellent, developmentally responsive, socially equitable, and supported by organizational structures that sustain excellence. So to break these down, and I'm not going to read over all of these indicators here, these are located again on the National Forum website, as well as when you apply in the application, as well as in the site visit packet. So I will highlight a couple of these. We do want our schools to have high academic standards for all students. Some things to think about here would be interventions for kids, making our schools very challenging and having engaging activities within classes. And then time is a big thing that we look at, whether it's the master schedule or time for teachers to collaborate, meet with students. Those all lead toward academic excellence. When it comes to developmental responsiveness, thinking of the specific needs of adolescent learners, we want our students to have access to comprehensive services, thinking about a curriculum that is engaging, relevant, authentic to the real world. That is important for middle school students. And then student voice is really big. So anything from leadership opportunities in a school to extracurricular activities, having that student voice is very developmentally appropriate. When it comes to social equity, a couple things that are highlighted here is meeting the diverse needs of our student body and the changing needs, thinking of our students coming off a pandemic, providing access for all of our students, and then a school that would be characterized as a school to watch would be a school where students are known well by adults in the building. And then the final domain here, again, not reading all of these, but when it comes to organizational structures, this entire process is really about reflection. From your initial designation to the redesignation every 3 years, we want schools to focus on continuous school improvement. Professional learning for faculty and staff, and then also including members of the community and families into the work of the school. So how does this work in the Commonwealth of Virginia? Schools to Watch is sponsored by the Virginia Middle School Association. We go over a timeline for those schools that are applying designation or redesignation. The process starts the spring the year previously. So between March and June, school would work through an online survey. The results of that survey help drive the application process. The applications are due in the fall by September 15th. The site visits happen between October 15th and December 15th. And then into the winter and into the spring, individual schools would have their own celebration. Collectively, we would come together in June at the annual Schools to Watch conference that has traditionally been held in Arlington, Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C. We did have an online virtual conference last year. The plan for 2022 would be to have an in-person conference. We are making plans currently for that. So as you apply, there's a page that goes over school and division expectations. So as a school to watch, you also are required to be a member as a school of the Virginia Middle School Association. On your website, you should display the Schools to Watch logo as well as the VMSA logo. Not only is there an annual conference from Schools to Watch, but there's an annual state conference from the Virginia Middle School Association. And as part of being a school to watch, you are agreeing to send at least one representative or or maybe a team to not only accept an award as a school to watch, but to also present on best practices as being a school to watch. And then the final thing here is helping with site visits, whether it's the current year or it's in future years. Most site visit teams are comprised of individuals that are currently working at a school to watch. As part of the site visit process, there's a confidentiality and conflict of interest statement that the team leader will guide you through. And really the intent of this is we want to make sure that there's no conflict of interest that could potentially bias an application or even a site visit process. So if you have worked in the division in the previous 5 years, or you have personal connections with those in that division, we want that site visit team to be diverse from individuals from other divisions, not the current division of that school. So let's talk about this site visit process. So based on an application review, schools are selected for site visits. Remember, the site visits occur between October 15th and December 15th. So this is considered the training for those individuals. We have teams of 3 to 6. These teams will receive a site visit packet with some additional information along with this video. There's a team leader that's assigned, and the team leader will work directly as a liaison between the principal and the team. Once all the site visits are completed, we will announce to the individual schools between December 15th and January 15th, those that have received that designation or redesignation status. Again, they would present at the national conference and the VMSA conference, and then the redesignation period happens every 3 years after that. As the state director, I will support all schools and giving you friendly reminders if you are up for redesignation. There was a pause in 2020 based on the pandemic that occurred in many states across the United States. So sometimes that 3 years based on the pandemic was delayed to that 4th year. Again, I'm in communication with all the schools involved in that. So what happens prior to the site visit? How do we make these site visits work? Teams are assembled using a Google form. Again, I mentioned that the team leaders are determined for each site. They're working together with the principal in advance of your actual visit. I will send each team member the application. This will help you prepare for your visit, and then just give you a guide for questions that you may ask to individuals at that school. And then also the team will receive the site visit packet. So during the site visits, which will happen during a school day in person, the team will observe classrooms. So observe team meetings, different aspects of the school. We'll interview students and staff members, teachers, administrators, and also have some time to review the application or just different pieces of data from that school. And then in the afternoon, at the end of the visit, the team will sit down under the leadership of the team leader, and they will come to a consensus as to whether the school meets the expectation of being a school to watch. It's important that the deliberations to determine the designation are centered on the domains and not necessarily an individual personal preference on some new initiative or program. So everything is focused on those 4 domains. And then the site visit report, one report is written collectively with input from the team. The team leader sends that to the state director within 2 days of that visit. So again, I want to thank you all first for the work that you are doing to support our adolescent learners in middle schools all across the Commonwealth. I want to thank you for volunteering your staff or yourself to be a part of the site visit process. If you have questions about anything, I am here as a resource to you. Feel free to reach out to me via email, and I will do everything I can to support you. So again, I want to thank you for participating in the Virginia Schools to Watch site visit training. And as is listed on this, we are looking for a few, not good schools, but a few great schools in the Commonwealth of Virginia.